Part 3, here's the interview with Elon Musk and the rest of the Doge crew. We finally asked the one question on our mind. Who's big balls?
It's big.
That should be obvious.
Why do they call you big balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Now, what you're going to have to wait, right? There's going to be a ton of spin on this story. They're probably not going to show, these. They're going to try to play to the heartstrings. Like I've already seen MSNBC and stuff like that, where they're like, "Oh, is it so funny that he's fired all these employees, stuff like that?" That kid didn't fire anybody. Let's be very clear about that, right? What that kid is doing, and all those other kids that they're going to go through in this segment, is the amount of waste and fraud, and in my personal opinion, just it may be corruption, right? Or it's just absolute like ineptitude, like they're just morons. And what happens is that this mass bureaucracy of morons is there's somebody in there that's smart and making money out of this, right? That's also something that's obvious. But let's listen to Big Balls in the gang and see what you guys think.
Yeah.
So what do you
LinkedIn
do?
is so cringe.
What does Big Balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. And you're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
Yeah, like what? That would be the response.
Is this the most basic responses?
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the most common response.
Right. So again, everyone's talking shit about these people and these, these brilliant kids that are stepping in there and doing this. And, if you just hear that one part, like, all right, there are all these payments that are going out. And then we asked, like, where is this going? And nobody knows. That's a really big problem. And you can see how that's going to metastasize and just, it's a cancer that's just consuming the entire country. You can't keep paying taxes to this monstrosity of a government and not know where the hell this stuff is going. It's when you strip the politics off of this, it's just as clear as day. If there was anyone, if Barack Obama was saying the exact same thing, which he did, the left would be cheering him on. Yeah, let's go. And that's how it shows you that it's just a purely partisan, there's no thought behind their arguments.
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like you're putting yourself at risk by doing this because you're stirring up so much hostility by these people ripping us off?
100%. Well, we don't need to speculate about that. You can see online in the protests that they make that very clear. I've been hanged in effigy.
Guys, if you can, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Throw a like if you like.
Many times. And there have been people that have actively advocated at these violent protests for my death, and also advocated for the death of the people at Doge.
I think the young folks of us have gotten hate mail, threats from reporters and the public alike. I think, speaking for myself, I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed. And if there's one, I think it's important to say, if there's one group of people who really have a shot of success, it's the people here. They're up until 2 a.m., Monday through Sunday. Doge should not recognize weekends. We're working all the time.
What inspired you to drop out of Harvard to do this?
There's a lot of reform that's needed. I think the value of this and the impact here is so much more vast than anything you could learn in a classroom doing computer science.
Other than that, I mean, that was a very very well. Obviously, the guy's probably brilliant. It was a well thought out answer. But the other answer is that college doesn't mean shit anymore for the most part. Like even when it comes to these high, these tech people, right? Where are you going to learn the nitty gritty? Where are you going to learn the stuff that's applicable to the job market? It's going to be working, actually working, sitting somewhere, getting the job done, grinding it out, being around other like-minded peers that are striving for excellence and trying to solve a massive problem. That's where you're going to learn. It's, college, if you need the accreditation, all right, that's something that you have to do. But when it comes to these businesses, a lot of them don't care. Do you know how to do it or don't you? That's the bottom line.
And you guys are sleeping here, I'm hearing. You guys are up all night. You have this meeting at 10 o'clock every Wednesday?
We'll probably go back to work right after this.
Yeah.
10
You're
p.m.
going back to work after this?
Yes.
Right.
It's almost 11 o'clock.
So that's early.
It's early? Can I go to bed? It's an incredible work ethic. You guys should be really, really proud of yourself. Do good people come up to you and say thank you for doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. There are people in the State Department that will stop you, or all of the agencies that we've been to, that'll stop you in the hallways or write emails and say, I was scared to write this, or I don't know if you're interested in this. But they usually have great ideas. And if they often have the best ideas because they've worked in the places and they've been stifled by the bureaucracy for so many years. So one of the great things that, at least in my experience, that we listen to them and empower them.
So
Yes, in fact, I'd like to emphasize that because we'd like to just give a big thank you to all the government employees who are helping reduce the waste and fraud, because this is, we really couldn't do it without you. So
it's a group effort.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm not trying to sort of say all government employees are bad. That's absolutely not the case. It's just that there actually just does need to be a serious effort to reduce the waste and fraud, and we're just making that happen. And a lot of people in the government are very glad to see it happen.
I think it's really important to recognize every single person around this table that's embedded within an agency is supporting that agency, whether they're working on systems or working through people. We are encountering droves of government employees who are missionaries, not mercenaries, who are actually here serving because they believe in what they're doing and they want to do things well. We are trying to empower them, and they feel empowered now to ask the question of why? Why aren't we doing this? What else can we be doing? How can we fix this? And I think agency by agency, it is filled with exceptional government employees, right? And when we give them the tools, when we give them the systems, and we leave behind systems to help them do their jobs better, that's the permanent change, right? And they're embracing that, not because it's new to them, it's because it's something they've always wanted to do. But for the first time ever, we're giving them the tools and the collaboration to be able to do that.
It's a very important message. Yeah. That message needs to get out a lot more. I'm so glad you said that.
We have exceptional people at all of our agencies, exceptional. I mean, they do a thankless job and they work incredibly hard.
I love to hear how collaborative it is with these people in these agencies, and it's not all conflict. Sometimes in the media, you always hear about conflict, and you guys are considered these ruthless suits that come in and scare people. But
Conflict is the exception. There is conflict, but that is the exception. It's actually true of history in general. People study the wars a lot, but actually most of the time there wasn't war.
it's just not as exciting.
It's just not as exciting.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, for the TV guys, we like conflict, but in this case, we love the collaboration. So thank you guys. Thanks for allowing me this access in here.
All right, in other news, 100 days of President Donald Trump.
So yeah, I mean, this is I'm gonna check and see if there's actually a long form or more of this interview. I don't think there is, but that is the story, and that's the story that's not going to get out there. And it's not going to get out there. I'm actually I'll see if I can make it short, just a short of this, because this is the war, the culture war, the information war that we're fighting, right? Is that it takes, a 5-minute segment just to get a flavor of this stuff, and people aren't going to do that, right? They're gonna scroll through a reel and try to ingest something that just hits them, where it feels good or where it feels bad, right? And then they take that and then they run with it. Right, that's the information war that we're fighting now. We have to learn how to condense these things, and albeit the information is not going to be perfect, right? It's hard to talk and think and explain these things in a 60-second TikTok or a reel, but we have to try, right? We have to try. We have to at least get people to the point where they're interested to see more. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I do these, relatively mid-range videos. In the shorts, I try to just hit, hit people in their heartstrings and just get them to understand and just pique the interest, because what these kids have done and what they're doing is absolutely remarkable. They are intelligent. They are, I mean, this is the future of the United States, hopefully, right? Are these geniuses sitting there working tirelessly to figure this stuff out? Thanks a lot, guys, for coming out. This was a great video. Please give me a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you.